This program is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to treat, diagnose, or cure any illness. Please speak with your doctor when starting a new health program.
Welcome to Wellness Talk this week. Hope you guys are doing well out there. This is George Batista, as always, your health and nutrition advocate. Wellness Talk is the show that goes over the latest in health and healing and nutrition, and we take the mystery out of supplements and show you how to use them properly. Platinum Nutritionals is the website, so you guys can check out any of the articles that I go over for yourselves, as well as you can check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and as always, all the links to all our social media are in the description, so check it out. We're supported by Patreon, so if you'd like to support us at the $5 level, you can do so. Or if you can support us at the $15 level, that will get you access to some amazing courses that I've got up there on specific conditions, so check that out. All right, so this week we're going to talk about the growing evidence of vitamin K benefits for heart health. And this is from Edith Cowan University out of Australia. We're going to talk about, first of all, the different vitamin Ks that are out there, because it's not just one type of vitamin K. We're going to talk about the new research on exactly how it works in your body and what it's doing, and more research that needs to be done on that. Then we're going to talk about squalene. Benefits beyond skin health. Some of you may know what squalene is, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is and how it's used and how it could benefit you. Again, not only with skin, but also with a lot of other things. This is from Wellness Resources, Linda Dauberstein. And then we're going to talk about the 11 surprising health benefits of ozone therapy. Now, ozone is one of those modalities, those healing modalities that, again, you don't hear about, except maybe in Europe. In certain places in Europe, they use it regularly. But again, in the United States, you don't hear this type of stuff because it's kind of against the mainstream. But I think you will get some benefit in hearing about it, because there are some doctors out there, whether you call them alternative or naturopaths or functional medicine doctors, that actually use ozone on a regular basis, along with other things like vitamin C, treating people with all types of conditions. So anyway, we're going to go over the health benefits of that. And then, time permitting, I'm going to show you another kind of hack that I call it, for stress reduction, something you can use for stress reduction, because so many people are stressed these days, and we definitely need different ways that we can cope with it. So we'll talk about another modality that's out there that you guys can use. It's pretty simple, but it's very effective. So that's what we got on tap this week. So let's get started. So first article, again, is out of Edith Cowan University in Australia. And this is the growing evidence of vitamin K benefits for heart health. Now, so I'm just going to quote some of the lines here from this article. So it says, researchers examined data from more than 50,000 people taking part in a Danish diet, cancer, and health study over a 23-year period. And they investigated whether people who ate more foods containing vitamin K had a lower risk of cardiovascular disease related to atherosclerosis. Now, atherosclerosis we know is plaque building up in the arteries, right? So there are two main types of vitamin K, right? So we have vitamin K1, and that is primarily from leafy green vegetables, you get it. And it's primarily used, it's in your body, it's primarily used for blood clotting. And then we have vitamin K2, which is found in meat and eggs and fermented foods such as cheese and stuff like that. So the study found that people with the highest intakes of vitamin K1 were 21% less likely to be hospitalized with cardiovascular disease related to atherosclerosis. Now, for vitamin K2, the risk of being hospitalized was lower by 14%. Okay. Now, this lower risk was seen for all types of heart disease related to atherosclerosis, particularly for peripheral artery disease at 34%. Very interesting, right? Now, this is what the one of the authors of the study, her name is Dr. Nicola Bondano, and she said that current dietary guidelines for the consumption of vitamin K are generally only based on the amount of vitamin K1 a person should consume to ensure that their blood can coagulate, right? Blood clotting, that type of thing. However, there is a growing evidence that indicates that vitamin K above the current guidelines can afford further protection against the development of other diseases such as atherosclerosis. Now, here's what's interesting, because they're finally kind of coming on to this, right? And which is something that the nutritionists out there have known this forever, that the guidelines for a lot of these vitamins, again, such as vitamin K, are way low, right? Vitamin K, vitamin C, vitamin D, all these vitamins, the guidelines are really, really, really low, right? Because they're only at the point to prevent specific diseases. For example, vitamin D, the recommended daily allowance is only there to avoid rickets, and vitamin C guidelines is only there to avoid scurvy. But we actually know that your body needs actually way more than that to actually really be effective against certain diseases. So they're finally starting to realize these types of things. I don't know why it takes so many studies to do that, but to understand what nutritionists have known for years. Now, beyond that, there is a concept called Triage Theory. And you may or may not have heard of this, but this was actually popular. This was made popular by a scientist, a biochemist, a molecular biologist named Bruce Ames. And the triage theory says this, and it's actually been proven. So I'm going to read the meaning of it, and I'll kind of explain it a little bit. The triage theory basically says that some functions of micronutrients, like the vitamins and minerals and fatty acids and amino acids that your body needs, are restricted during shortage, and that functions required for short-term survival take precedence over those that are less essential. So in layman's terms, what that means is that if you take a look at vitamin K, again, vitamin K serves many, many purposes, but it actually two main purposes that it serves. One is blood clotting, and the other one is taking calcium and making sure that calcium doesn't deposit in your arteries. Now, the triage theory says that if your body does not have enough vitamin K, your body will ration it. So what it will do is it will actually make sure it has enough vitamin K so your blood can clot, but whatever's left over, it will use for to prevent atherosclerosis. But if there's not much left over at all, it's not going to try to prevent the atherosclerosis because that's not priority for short-term survival. Okay, so keep in mind that if you don't have vitamin K and you can't clot, for example, you get a cut, you can bleed out, right? So that's short-term survival right now. But atherosclerosis can take 10, 15, 20 years to actually build up into a problem. So again, your body will take what it has and it will ration it to the most important thing that is needed now. That's what the triage theory says, and they have demonstrated it with vitamin K. They have demonstrated it with folic acid and many other vitamins. So this is very important. Again, this goes back to the whole point of this show and what I try to hammer home to you guys as well. That number one, if you're not eating your greens, you're not eating a good diet filled with the fruits and vegetables, filled with those essential nutrients, you're not going to have enough in your system. Thereby, your body has to ration it. Thereby, there are things that are going to go wrong that are more priority for long-term survival, not short-term survival, right? So, again, if you can't get enough of those nutrients from your food, I always say take a multivitamin. If a multivitamin has vitamin K, it has folic acid or folate, or all those types of things, then at least you're getting the insurance and you know that you're getting enough of those nutrients. Because if you are deficient in those nutrients, it's only a matter of time before something goes wrong. The high blood pressure, the high blood sugar, the cognitive decline, whatever you want to say, okay? So this is extremely important. And this triage theory, again, it was started by Bruce Ames, and he looked at vitamin K as one of the first ones, but he also did it with a lot of other vitamins, and they found it to be plausible. They found that actually that's exactly what happens. So the moral to the story, you could say, is get enough vitamin K, get enough of those leafy greens in your diet, and making sure you're getting enough of the nutrition that you need. I consider myself a nutritarian, because I eat to make sure I get the nutrients I need. I don't care if it's, maybe plant-based, not plant-based, or whatever the case may be. But as long as I'm getting enough nutrition, I know I'm doing the right thing. Okay? So vitamin K, very important. Next, we're going to talk about the benefits of squalene and benefits beyond skin health. Now, squalene is one of those things that it has been researched for its health modulating benefits, but is relatively unknown in the general public. Now, we'll talk about exactly what it is and what it's used for. And it's actually a natural part of your body's structure, specifically in your skin. It's kind of an oily substance. Now, squalene was first discovered in 1916 in shark liver oil, and it has since been found in olive oil, amaranth, palm, rice bran, and wheat germ oils, and other plants. Now, shark liver oil contains by far the highest amount of naturally occurring squalene. Now, what's interesting is that babies actually have the highest amount of squalene levels in their blood, their bloodstream and their skin. And that's obviously because they're developing and they need a lot of squalene to make sure that their skin and everything is developing properly. But squalene levels decline with age. Again, your body makes it, but they decline with age like a lot of other things, right? So we'll talk about exactly what squalene is involved in. Squalene is metabolically involved with cholesterol production and could be metabolized into HDL cholesterol. It's also a precursor for other steroid hormones and things like vitamins A, D, E, and K, right? The fat-soluble vitamins, carotenes, coenzyme Q10, lycopene, which you get from tomatoes. All those types of things also have a similar structure to squalene. Now, squalene helps generate oxygen in your cells as it is metabolized and naturally assists with blood flow. Okay, your skin contains the highest amount of squalene compared to all the other tissues. So, what are the benefits of squalene? So we'll go down the line here. So first, it's skin hydration. So maintenance of good skin health is important. Just outside as inside, right? Your skin provides protection, temperature regulation, mechanical support, and more. It's the second largest organ in the body in terms of surface area, okay? But now, squalene is extremely important because it actually helps to keep the skin hydrated. It helps the skin maintain an antioxidant level, and it helps kind of with that glow, and it helps with the integrity of the skin as well, okay? Now, a small clinical trial evaluated the effects of various moderate and high doses of squalene in skin health in women 50 and older. And at the end of the 90-day trial, women who consumed squalene experienced improved collagen levels and measurably fewer facial wrinkles. So those of you who really want to try to lower the incidence of wrinkles, this is something you should definitely check out. Okay. Now, cell studies also showed that when vitamin C was combined with squalene, collagen levels and skin thickness were substantially enhanced, more so than with the vitamin C alone. Now, we all know, I've talked about it before because I talked about collagen on this show, that vitamin C is intimately involved with collagen production, also with along with glucosamine and hyaluronic acid. Okay, so squalene is also intimately involved in that whole process as well. Now, squalene also helps with heart and cholesterol. Okay, so squalene helps your body naturally modulate cholesterol and triglyceride levels through the HMG-CoA reductase enzyme in the liver that directs cholesterol metabolism. Now, that enzyme pathway is also what makes CoQ10. So it makes cholesterol and it makes CoQ10, right? Now, this is the issue because if someone's on statin drugs, for example, that pathway gets shut off because they're no longer able to make cholesterol like they're supposed to, and as well as they're no longer able to make CoQ10 as well. So people on those types of drugs do have to understand also that squalene can no longer modulate that cholesterol synthesis through that pathway if you're on a statin drug. So that goes down as well, again, leading to other issues with the skin and other cells and different types of things like that. Now, squalene is also supportive of detoxification and cellular protection. Now, squalene supports the removal of detoxification of toxins, and a recent study explored its protective effects in animals exposed to all different types of toxins. Okay, that were they were exposed to compounds that actually affected their kidney health and their function. Now, the animals that were given squalene in their diet, along with a few other things, squalene activated the antioxidant component mTOR in their system and phosphatidylserine and other fats. Okay, so it actually helped the antioxidant levels of those animals actually come up. All right, and it's very, very important with that as well. Squalene also helps your brain and retina support. Now, here's what's interesting. Did you know that your brain is one of the most fattiest organs in the body? The brain fats, okay, that's why we're all fatheads, by the way, but brain fats are made up of cholesterol. They're made up of omega-3s, right, DHA, phosphatidylserine, and other fats. So about 70% of the cholesterol used by your brain is for myelin. Now, myelin is actually the sheet that surrounds your brain. It's like a fatty layer, all right, that actually surrounds your brain and that actually helps with protecting the nerves and enhances communication and speed in the brain. Okay, so research published in January 2021 in the Journal of Nature Neuroscience explored the fascinating mechanisms of myelin repair. Myelin production and repair requires healthy cholesterol synthesis, of which squalene is an intermediate precursor. So again, we go back to the cholesterol thing, right? Cholesterol is needed for a lot of things. It's needed for repair, but it's also needed for repair of the brain. Well, if you don't have enough squalene, or again, if you're on statin drugs, that cholesterol and all those things that are moving together are not happening well, right? So this is where you start to get major side effects and that type of thing. So anyway, so this is squalene. It's a very interesting thing. And those of you who want to protect your brain, your skin cells, your heart cells, and all these types of things, check out squalene. Now, Wellness Resources does have a squalene supplement that you guys can check out. So, it'll be, again, Wellness Resources. I have the links down at the bottom. So if you want to check those out, type in squalene in the search box and you'll see the supplement there. So check it out. Squalene for health, very important. And by the way, squalene is actually spelled SQUALENE. Okay, so that's squalene. Next, we're going to talk about the 11 surprising health benefits of ozone therapy. And this was an article by Chris Wusterhausen. Now, ozone therapy is one of those things, again, that doesn't get talked about much in this country, but it is used very effectively in places like Germany and certain places in Europe. And it actually does amazing things. People use it alongside intravenous vitamin C, but it's very, very important. Now, ozone, it has been used by practitioners and researchers and by scientists for more than 150 years, with benefits shown for autoimmune diseases as well as many other diseases. Now, how does it work and actually what does it do? So it's called medical ozone. Medical ozone is made by passing oxygen through an electrical coil, giving it 3 atoms, which changes O2, because remember, oxygen is O2. It changes it into O3, which becomes ozone. Now, ozone can be administered many different ways, okay? It can be administered in the ears, in the rectum, in the vagina, in the bladder, or delivered intramuscularly, or via autohemotherapy, which is actually into the blood, or even under the skin. Now, typically what they do, many of the doctors who use ozone, and they're using it correctly, it's almost kind of like an infusion, right? You actually get the blood gets taken out and it goes through a machine and it gets combined with ozone, okay? And what it does, it kind of supercharges the blood, and then it actually makes the blood more of a bright red color, and then it's brought back in to the body, and it's done sections at a time. But it's very, very important. It's basically oxygenating the blood. Now, keep in mind that if you have a serious health issue, right, whether it's cancer, whether it's COVID, or whether it's a flu, or whatever it is that you're dealing with, obviously you're dealing with oxidation. But when you oxygenate the cells, you actually introduce this whole anti-inflammatory component that actually literally wipes all that out. Okay, especially cancer, because think about it. Cancer doesn't exist in a highly oxygenated state. Okay, that's what they've realized. Well, when you oxygenate the blood through an ozone infusion, you can actually start to kill cancer cells. And people do this all the time, okay, through this whole mechanism. So it's very important. So we're going to talk about the 11 benefits of ozone. And by the way, again, those of you who would like to get more information on ozone, there's a lot of information online about ozone. You just have to be careful where you search it, because again, there's a lot of mainstream that's trying to get rid of this type of stuff, right? So I would definitely contact a naturopath or functional medicine clinic, functional medicine doctor, those types of clinics or doctor's offices that use this. Because they will be able to actually educate you on the proper use of it and exactly how they use it. And because those are the only people that can actually use it properly. So I would definitely contact someone who's an authority on that. So we'll talk about the first benefit of ozone is boosting your immune system. Now, ozone therapy has the potential to modify the immune system to better cope with inflammation. Many people suffer from conditions that cause inflammation, right? All types of inflammatory markers come out, and those types of things like tumor necrosis factor alpha and interleukin 6. These are all inflammatory markers. So inflammation leads to oxidative stress, right? Which eventually leads to pain and discomfort and those types of things. Well, in a 2005 study, regular ozone therapy was effective at reducing these markers of inflammation by regulating oxidative stress, and because it acts as an immunomodulator. Ozone could aid in the management of inflammatory conditions such as asthma, arthritis, Crohn's disease, and all other different types of things, right? So, very, very important. Ozone also is an antibacterial, antifungal, and has antiviral abilities, okay? So there have been many studies into the infection control properties of ozone. One found that ozone therapy can completely resolve. Now, listen to what I'm saying here. It can completely resolve an acute bacterial infection caused by a tick bite within 24 to 48 hours. Think about for those, who are thinking about Lyme disease, right? You may live in an area. I know I do, right? Living in an area that Lyme disease could be prevalent, right? Ticks could be all over. So, obviously you have to watch out for that. So for anyone suffering from Lyme disease and other tick-associated illnesses, this is good news. Ozone therapy may also help to treat and prevent viral infections such as the flu, which is encouraging for anyone who finds themselves susceptible to winter bugs, right? And we could talk about many other illnesses. And by the way, again, in Europe and some of those other countries, they're treating all types of big illnesses with ozone therapies, with much success. So think about that. Number 3, It can reverse damage to the brain after a stroke. Now, when you have a stroke, the infected area of the brain begins to lose crucial oxygen supply, right? It's called hypoxia. So ozone has been shown to oxygenate this area of the brain that actually helps to, bring this back, actually help to, highly oxygenate the brain and help someone recovering to make their recovery shorter. Very, very cool stuff. Ozone also lowers the risk of repeat heart attacks. Okay. They say it could reduce the risk of a repeat heart attack. And in a 2017 study, they discovered that the sooner ozone therapy was given after a heart attack and the longer it is given, the better the results. Fantastic. Number 5, joint mobility. They showed that it actually makes incredible strides into decreasing the inflammation if you have joint arthritis and those types of things. Number 6, detoxing. Okay. Another way to detox is through regular ozone treatments, which can improve your overall metabolism and health. Why? Because if you're highly toxic, and a lot of times if you have gut issues, you're definitely highly toxic, ozone therapy can help get that, kind of take those toxins out. Number 7, wound healing. Ozone is definitely be used in different types of wound healing, especially if you're an athlete. Athletes who, get wounded on, whether it's on the field or wherever it is, ozone can actually help accelerate and reactivate healing cells in your body to actually, help with cellular repair, get the athlete back on the field faster. Next, stem cell activation and repair. Okay, it's been used to continuously produce all types of cells, including helping your heart, your brain, blood, nerves, skin, all other parts of the body, helps repairing those cells. Okay. Number 10, just the overall oxygenation of cells. Again, part of the issue with disease is having less oxygen, right? Less oxygen, low mitochondria, that type of thing that starts to increase oxidative stress. Again, ozone has been shown to decrease that. And number 11, skin rejuvenation. It's only recently that ozone therapy has been used to help rejuvenate the skin, but it makes perfect sense because skin cells need oxygen to stay in good condition. So ozone therapy increases oxygenation, which helps the overall skin rejuvenate. So those are the 11 benefits of ozone therapy. So again, if you are definitely interested in, finding out more information, I would again, get access to a naturopath or a functional medicine doctor or somebody who has access to ozone therapy. Again, if they run a clinic or a doctor's office that have that, I know, personally doctors who do this in the States that I've actually gone to. And they do it for athletes. They do it for all different types of illnesses. And it's used with tremendous success. Again, some doctors I've spoken to actually said it's even better than intravenous vitamin C. And you know how I am a vitamin C lover and a promoter of vitamin C in general. So check out ozone. It's, definitely can be used, especially dealing with all kinds of stuff that's out there right now. We need modalities like this more than anything else. All right. And finally, just wanted to address another health modality for stress reduction. And this is something that a lot of people use. It's actually become more popular in the last few years. And you may or may not have heard of it, but you can go on YouTube and get some information on it. But there's also books on it. And it's called EFT, or Emotional Freedom Technique. So some people also call it tapping. Now, we know we are as stressed out a society as we can ever possibly be, more than ever, right? So, obviously different things like meditation and exercise and just being overly calm actually helps to bring down stress and bring down the cortisol levels and those types of things. But this is a therapy that's actually becoming more and more proven. So what's involved in EFT? So a couple of things, and there are EFT practitioners out there, by the way. So this is also called tapping. So those of you who are familiar with acupuncture, right? Acupuncture, what you do is what the acupuncturists do is they put the needles that they use in certain pressure points in your body to start to relieve the stress in those points, right? These are specific points in your body. They're called meridians. And it is said that when you stimulate those points, it actually helps relieve, whether it's stress, whether it's certain types of illness, and those a lot of things like that. Now, acupuncture has actually been proven to heal a lot of things. Acupressure also, just providing acupressure can also do it as well. Well, this is similar to that, but what it is let's just say that you're dealing with stress at work, okay? And it's running in your mind over and over, and the blood is pumping and the adrenaline is pumping. So the actual mechanism is you would sit down quietly and you would start to tap with 2 fingers these pressure points. And I'll tell you exactly what some of the pressure points are, what the main pressure points are that they talk about. One of them is at the crown of your head. Another one is at the beginning of the eyebrow. One is at the side of the eye, at the edge of the eye socket. One of them is directly under the eye. The next one is under the nose, in that little groove there under the nose above the lip. One is under the bottom lip, where between your chin and your lip. Then the next one is where your collarbone is. And then finally, the next one is under the armpit, directly under the armpit. And the science behind this is that you think about what it is that you're dealing with, whatever stress you're dealing with, and you talk it out. And you say out loud, now some people don't want to say it out loud, and that's fine, but you say out loud what the stress is, and as you're talking about it, you're tapping on these points, okay? And you're going up and down, up and down. So you start at your head, go to your eye, go to your brow, go under your eye, and you're going just back and forth as you're talking about this, whatever problem you have. And what this does is it actually stimulates those meridians to actually start to calm your nervous system. And that's the whole idea of this, to calm your nervous system, to bring your stress level down, hopefully bring your blood pressure down, and to actually calm you down. I've used this many times because I've been in many, many stressful situations in my life. And when I got introduced to this, I wanted to try it. So I started to use it whenever things got stressful for me. And it actually worked beautifully, because it actually really does bring down the stress response. So, and again, I'm not doing it justice here, but there's plenty of books on it. If you Google tapping or emotional freedom technique or EFT, the gentleman who actually started the whole thing, his name was, I think his name was Gary Craig, his name is. I think he's the one that started it. He wrote one of the first books on it. Then another gentleman named Ortner also wrote a book called The Tapping Solution. I forget his first name, but yeah, so the book's called The Tapping Solution, and many, many people, athletes are using it now. All different types of people, even psychiatrists and psychologists have actually talked about how beneficial it is, and that it's actually been becoming more proven and scientific because it's actually working. It's wow, right? Something actually works, So my suggestion, if you want to take a look at this, you can go on YouTube and put in just EFT or tapping. And there's many, many videos on it. It's hundreds and hundreds of videos on it. Or again, Google The Tapping Solution. Again, a great book on how to use it. Maybe I'll have one of those folks on this show one of these days. They could talk a little bit about it and how beneficial it is. So again, it's called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, or tapping. Again, it's something you can do 10 minutes, to help relieve stress. So again, another hack for you guys to check out if you are inclined to do so. All right, so that's this week's show. Glad you guys could be with me. Hope you guys are staying wealthy and healthy and doing well. Until we speak again next week, don't forget, guys, Make sure, keep yourself healthy, take control. Have a great day, guys.